I don't offhand think of any example of that through a mediator in the Old Testament.
Oh, actually, I always bring this
Mm,
up whenever we get the question of worship and prayer. Isaiah
mm.
45:14. You have the nations making supplication or praying to Israel.
It's very good indeed. Actually, absolutely right. Israel, at that point, God's a converted people, which is not true today, but in the future millennial kingdom, first stage of the kingdom of God, they will be converted as a whole, as a collective whole, and people will be begging God for things using Israel, then converted, as a mediator. Good point.
Yeah, the NABRE. See,
Hmm.
they hide the worship and prayer words, by the way, the translators. Some of them
They
do
do.
have them. There you have before you, they shall bow down. That's worship. They don't like to
Hmm.
use worship.
Hmm. Hmm.
Saying in prayer, actually,
Hmm.
they're praying to them.
Yep,
That is, they're
that's right.
supplicating to Israel.
Yep, yes.
With you alone
Good.
is God.
That's a very special example. And of course, the word worship in our English is horribly confusing for people. The logic of most is that if Jesus is worshipped, he must be God because only God is worshipped. That's absolutely false. You've got to do some good word study. Proskuneo in the Greek and the shachar Hebrew word is used of others than God. You cannot determine who somebody is by looking at the words directed towards them. That's false. It doesn't work. Jesus is certainly worshipped as Messiah, certainly not as God. And David was worshipped along with Yahweh in that famous text in 1 Chronicles 29. Most important, but it does take some work. If you're not getting this preached to you on a Sunday, then you're not learning enough to make intelligent sense of some of these things.
David
Hmm.
told the whole assembly, now bless Yahweh, the Lord your God. The whole assembly bless Yahweh, the Lord, the God of their ancestors, bowing down, that is
Yes.
worshiping,
Hmm.
before Yahweh
Hmm.
and the
The
king.
same word.
They're doing this also, Anthony, I believe, because the king, the human king, the messianic
Hmm.
king, let's
Hmm.
go,
Hmm.
is sitting
Hmm.
on the throne of God
Yeah.
on earth, right? So the throne of
Yes.
David in Jerusalem,
Mm.
when there was a kingdom, when there
Mhm.
was a nation, was actually representative of the throne of God himself. Was it not?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yes. On the throne of David, which is also called the throne of Yahweh. It's not so hard once one relaxes a little bit and allows the Bible just to speak easily for itself.
The Revelation 3:9,
Yep.
behold, I will make
Mm.
them come and worship before your
Yep.
feet.
Yes.
Again, you have to dig deep for translations that render
Mm-hmm.
proskuneos worship in relation to
Yep.
others apart from
Mm-hmm.
God. And this is some
Yes.
version I haven't even
Mm.
known about. New Matthew Bible. I don't even know what this
Okay.
is,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
one of the few that has the worship word.
I will cause those who fought you, who objected to you Christians, to come and worship at your feet and acknowledge that I was in you. That is justice. That is fair play, that God is going to see that vengeance is done, and the objectors to Jesus are going to have to worship Jesus' representatives. And in Daniel 7:27, all the nations are going to have to obey and serve not just God and Jesus. We know of that. To serve and obey the saints, the true people of God, in Daniel 7:27, mistranslated in some versions, but correct in the RSV and others. Worship the people of God. That's quite a calling. And in First Peter, you have this famous thing about honor and glory are going to come to you. Yes, I get it. I know what Jesus has done. I understand that God is to be worshipped. But don't underestimate the value in God's sight of a converted saint. They're going to be put in charge of the world. I think it's Jeremiah 17, where God is said to have given the world to those whom he chooses to give it to. That's quite a generous God. How would you like to have the world as your inheritance? We underestimate this. We've reduced the reward of salvation to playing harps on pink clouds in the sky, polishing rainbows, quoting Billy Graham here, polishing rainbows and preparing heavenly dishes. That is really an insult to the biblical revelation.